Hello and welcome to the Stoppage Time Penalty Show. Tabriz here, your host. Please like and subscribe. Let's go straight into this. I have someone on the show. We've been connected for over 2 years. He literally did a challenge with Nana and myself, and he still hasn't kind of given us who actually won. But let's not talk about that. Let's not digress. Mimi, founder of Mo Coaching, is on the show. How are you doing, sir?
Cool. Yeah. Not too bad. Thank you. I'm doing okay. Thank you. It's
Yes.
nice for you to have me on your platform today.
What was your family dynamic like?
Yes. Growing up, so parents and a sister. Parents both working, providing for my sister growing up in terms of what we need. Pretty chilled. Nothing, out of the ordinary. Just a standard working class family.
And are you the youngest?
Youngest, yeah.
Okay. So was there a little bit of kind of, well, not pressure, but of course, you are there to protect your sister. So was that pressure on you to protect your sister, even though you was the youngest?
Good question. I think it's more just sort of, and also being a boy into, obviously growing up as a child boy into a man now. I think it's just more just kind of live my life really. Parents didn't really put too much pressure on myself, and was just sort of do what you want, do what you enjoy, do what you're good at. I didn't really feel as much pressure as opposed to being either the first or second born and being a male, that man figure in the house that, following after from your father's footsteps.
What was your first footballing memory?
Oh, good. In terms of supporting a team or playing?
Just, the first time that you remember seeing a football, could be the first time you kicked it, the first, what was the game that you saw, you were like, oh my gosh, like I want to get involved in this sport?
I just remember just, growing up in a household, you used to have a little garden, and then there you start, kicking the ball around the garden, against the wall, against the fence. And then when you're not in the garden, you're kicking the ball around the house. I always remember stories growing up that ever since I could be able to kick a football, I always loved kicking a football around the house, smashing photos, home goods. But there. And then growing up to the age where I know when I was 8 years old, that's when I sort of looked for a team. And it's that old fashioned when you're just walking with your parents and you see a team playing, and you just go and approach them. You just go, oh, can I join in? So I remember that very, very well. And that was a team called Rome Boys, and that was like across the road from where I lived, across the road from Suffolk Park in Southeast London. And they had like a playing field, and I remember just going there, turning up, going, oh, can I join? And then from there went a few training sessions, and then I signed up, and that was a Sunday league. And then I started off as a left back.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, started off as a left back. Yeah. It's an interesting story that I like to say to people.
All right, okay. So, but me, at that young age, at 8 or 9, you knew at that age that you wanted to be involved in football.
Yeah, because I believe I was good. I was okay at it. I had the basics. I had the fundamentals. Playing at primary school, lunchtime, break time, after school clubs, playing in the local parks around on the estates, and then from there it was football, and then my love of Chelsea grew as well. Over from the years growing up, the Gianfranco Zola days, Vialli days, Ruud Gullit, even before Dennis Wise, Frank Sinclair, Frank LaBeouf, that era of Chelsea. So I know when you say you're a Chelsea fan, people just think, oh, how long you been a Chelsea fan? But now I'm, all my friends and family will know me as me supporting Chelsea from however long they've known me. And then obviously football is a sport predominantly played in this country, played in primary, secondary school. And yeah, it was when I joined that football team, and when you get the kit and you wear the kit, and when you get the Chelsea kit and you wear the kit all the time. I remember having one story where I wore my Chelsea kit for so long and it ended up in the bin. When you just wear it for too long, and then So I think from then, it's always been football. Like to play football, and then growing up, you then maybe have a career in football of some sort, and then you just sort of find your different paths and different avenues.
And again, correct me if I'm wrong. Southeast London. So you was born in Southeast London?
I actually born in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you moved from Scotland to London at what age?
From young, like young. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Those memories sort of kind of go over your head. But from young, probably like 2 years old.
So your schooling predominantly was in Southeast London, and how was that academically, socially? Can you kind of tell like the audience certain situations where you felt that you excelled, and certain situations where you're like, okay, you know what, something's not right here, either with teachers or with your peers?
Yeah. No. Again, I'm just your bog standard pupil, student. Went to a local primary school near my area all the way through to year 6, and then year 7, rather than going to the local secondary schools around the area, and most predominantly the local schools that a lot of people from the estate go to, I went to a school sort of like back then, like off ends. I went off ends, where you have to sort of take a few buses to school. I actually went to a secondary school where no one from my primary school went to.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Wow. So back then you often go to the same school as someone in your primary school. So as an 11-year-old, you just turned up to this all boys school, in Sidcup, going, right, I'm here for the next 5 years. But yeah, the school that I went to, met some, good friends, some good people, played for the school football team all through the years, from year 7, year 8, year 9, year 10, year 11. And then, I was just like an average student who enjoyed PE, enjoyed science, enjoyed English, DT. And met some good people. You grow from a 11-year-old into like a teenager as you go through the years. You navigate your life through the years. You meet people. One thing about going to school out of the area is that you meet other people from other areas. So it kind of opens your mind up a little bit to people just off the Ferry Estate and off Kidbrooke. You meet people from Eltham, Lewisham, New Cross, Mottenham, Grove Park, Sidcup, Orpington. You meet a lot of different people from that area. Like I said, it's just your average student. At the time, the grade C was the average, grade to get, whereas now it's getting 4s and 5s. So I would say that I was just an average C student who enjoyed sport, enjoyed science. Yeah, that was me really.
The key word that you've said probably throughout our brief conversation that we had now is average. You've said that so many times, and I want to delve deep into that. Like, did you feel that you was, even in your social circle, like average in there, in terms of you wasn't the eccentric one, or the one that would be quote unquote teased, where like saying that your average is quite a safe statement to make? Would you count yourself as a safe person, and literally how would other people describe you?
Good question. Well, of course you want to back yourself, and you back your ability growing up. But I think in terms of how I was back then, back when I was through my early years, my teens, into your early teens, then your late teens, and your early 20s, till now into I'm 30 now. But yeah, you're right. I think probably just the perception of how I perceive myself, and that's probably filtered down from the perception of teachers growing up and how they perceive you, in terms of just you're just scraping through, or you're not quite at that grade. You need to do this to push on. Then that sort of sticks with you for a while, until when you find what you really enjoy and what you're good at. So it wasn't until when I was 16, and then I was doing the football programs, which are quite popular now, the post 16 football academy. So I went to the then it was well, I went to college, Shooters Hill, and it was linked in with Elton Green, but it's not called that anymore. And it was also linked into the Dave Beckham Academy. And it was there between the age of 16 to 18 that I sort of then knew what I wanted to do. Like I always knew that, like you said, from 8 years old when I joined that football team and I was playing football, to when I went to secondary school and I enjoyed PE, I enjoyed science, I enjoyed English. I always knew that I wanted a career in sport from then, from probably like year 10, sort of year 9, year 10, year 11. I always knew that, sport was being involved in sport would be a suitable career for me. And then on to when I was 16 to 18, that when I did my BTEC program, that's when I sort of looked at, okay, next step, university and careers. So it's, like I said, it's those, hence why now I work in education. Hence why I'm so passionate about education and passionate about young people, and not giving them labels of, of average, of, oh, you're not quite there. But I'm quite passionate about encouraging and unlocking children and young people's potential.
Was there an opportunity for you to go into an academy, or literally someone spotted you? And why do you think you didn't reach the pinnacle regarding playing football?
Yeah, no, I think probably the era and the, growing up in think about, I went to school 2003. Growing up in, in the 2000s, between 2000 and 2010, growing up in that era where the gang culture, gang violence was very rife around that era. And, parents probably didn't want you even to be playing out, because they don't want you to be caught up in all of that. Just a case of going to school, coming home, not even like being able to even go to your friend's house after school, go and chill out at a weekend, or, go and play football somewhere else, or go to someone else's house. It was a case of go to school, come home, go to school, come home. Okay, you've got football training. Okay, go to football training for your Sunday league team, or, some days go to church. So I think probably just like maybe my opportunities that I was never presented with that opportunity. So in terms of playing at secondary school or primary school or my grassroots football team, there was never that opportunity of maybe like a scout coming to watch me. Or then also probably my parents maybe pushing me around that that route of academy, probably because of maybe their knowledge, and also probably like my knowledge as well, possibly. But yeah, no. In hindsight, there was no opportunities of myself, looking at academy, and then the next step from that. Really, it was just playing on a Saturday, playing on a Sunday, and school and church.
Yeah. So is it kind of safe to say that, within your family dynamic, it was literally about structure, discipline, and actually making sure that you better yourself within the academic system?
100%, 100%. And coming from a Nigerian African household, those are sort of mantras, you know, that you sort of have to abide by, and you have to kind of persuade your parents to be like, this football, you know, will do, you know, you have to try and sell it to them, you know, per se. You have, you know, growing up, you have to sell it to them. Like, why should you go to this football trial? Why should you take me to this academy if you had that opportunity? Because for them, it was, you know, study hard, work hard, books, books, books. Make sure you're doing well at school. Make sure there's no phone calls from school, and then yeah, enjoy your football at the weekend. But to be honest, like, you know, no regrets. You know, I'm 100% greatly appreciated of what my parents did for me growing up. 100%, because I'm here now. I'm thriving. I'm successful in different avenues of my life, and I'm still pushing on. And also the experience that I've been able to take on board over the years, like, you know, going to a school out of your area, you know, so from 11 years old, you've learned how to navigate yourself from your house to school and back at 11 years old, and you grow up, you're able to then navigate yourself across London. And then wider, when you then go to university, you're able to navigate yourself across London, out of London and back. And those are skills that you learn growing up. So then when, you know, so then you're able to do what you want to do, go where you want to go, because you can get yourself to and from places, which if, for example, I went to a school, a local school or a typical school, maybe my experiences would have been different.
Where does your coaching start?
I remember when I was 16, I was doing some volunteer work at a local youth centre in Eltham in the summer, and I was waiting for my GCSE results and waiting to go to college in September. So I was doing some volunteer work, and my task for the volunteer work was to set up a tournament in the local community. And I thought, okay, I like football. Let me set up a football tournament. So I was doing volunteer work. You know, you're learning skills, learning people skills, learning communication skills, organization skills, time management. You're meeting new people, and you're ready for the next chapter of your life. You know, you've left school, so now you're a young person looking to build upon some experience, to build your CV. So we were at an event in Greenwich, and I remember Charlton Community Trust being there, and they had their little pop-up store, and they were offering free level 1 courses. So I remember I remember signing up to it. So long story cut short, I signed up for it. I went onto the program, and then I did a level 1. So when I was 16, I got my level 1 at Charlton Community. Did all the training. Got the big pack. You know, I still even have it in my house now. The big pack that you get from the level 1, which is probably about a good 12 years ago now, right? If I'm actually good. So 12, 13, 14 years ago. So did that at 16, did safeguarding and did the first aid as well, along with it, and then you do your final assessment. I remember my assessment, I had Robin Hood, which was quite an easy one. It's quite an easy one, to be honest, like an easy assessment. You know, where you have all the balls in the middle, 4 teams, and then one at a time they run, get the ball, dribble it back, run, get the ball, dribble it back, and then you can do various progressions. So I did that. So yeah, got my level 1 when I was 16, and then I then started college that September. I was doing a BTEC National Diploma in Sport, and then from there, from memory, from what I remember, there wasn't really a lot of opportunities to actually use my level 1 at the time. And I didn't really start really coaching. I didn't even really start. And then did 16 to 18, did BTEC for 2 years, and I went on to university at 18. And then it was in my second year of uni that I got like an after school role, multi-sports assistant coach role. And it wasn't until like when I was maybe like 2022, 23, 2014, I found the role with Fit for Kids. They're based in Wandsworth, and that was a football coaching role. And then I took an under 10 team, and that was really good. So it was probably about 2014, 13, 14 that I actually was doing football coaching for like a football team. But before that, I've done my undergrad degree in physical sport education and sports science. So I've had a lot of experience with sport in general, PE teaching in primary school, PE teaching in secondary schools, doing placements. So I've had a lot of experience with sport and PE.
Within this time, I would love to know when your business was conceived.
So prior to that Fit for Kids role, I've had experience working with children and young people in primary schools. So literally that role, I was tasked with getting a set of players who had just only played football for fun to now compete in the league, and getting them to do training and then play a match. And that was a really good experience, actually. Really good, that's a really good experience. It's always good to build up on your experience. That's where it sort of started with the football coaching. And also liaise and contact parents as well, and attend training and attend matches as well. So that was between 2014, 16. At the end of that season, I thought I need a bit more, because I only had my level 1. So I then did my youth module 1 and my youth module 2 in 2015. So the youth module 1 is where there's different areas that you focus on regarding developing the player, like working with a player. So managing mistakes. Oh, I should really know this. Managing. No, I should actually. It's come back to me now. So the first one is developing the environment. So it's about the environment. So ensuring that players are in a positive learning environment. So you're creating a positive learning environment. You're enabling them to express themselves, be creative. You're enabling them to you're getting them to manage mistakes and problem solve. That whole holistic approach to coaching. And then your youth module 2 is developing the practice. So how can you create a constant practice? How can you develop a variable and a random practice? So that's 2015. So I went on that course with the London FA. That was really good. Again, learned a lot from that. Was able to acquire a qualification to then use with that under 10 team, because that's really applicable for the foundation phase 5 to 11, those youth modules. So I did that, and then 2016, that's when I've done my level 2. So I did my level 2 2016, where you've got I did the old school level 2, so it's technique, skills, small-sided game. Did that. I actually failed my first assessment. Wow. I had switch in play. I failed my first assessment, and I was gutted. I was really gutted. I went away, I reflected, and then I reassessed a few months later, and I had support play, and I passed. So September 2016, I passed my level 2. And then I then had an opportunity in 2017, 18 with Dulwich Village. And shout out Daniel Maskell as well. So really good guy. He's supported me over the years, and he's the one who sort of gave me my break in that Dulwich Village, really, and football magic as well. They're based out in Dulwich, and they do really good work in South East London, both of them. So I took it under 10 team, but I was more experienced, I was more equipped, and I was more mature. So that came about, that I had more tools in my arsenal. So 2017-18, did the under 10s football with Dulwich Village. Again, taking a new set of players to join a league. I think that seems to be my forte. I think I seem to always get new players, and then I've got to mold them into players to play and compete and learn and develop in the league. So that was really good. Again, I think the players, if they were under 10s now, again, maths, they'll probably be like under 15s now, under 14s, 15s maybe now. So it's good. Yeah, so that was a really good experience. And then 2019 is when, so July stroke August 2019 is when MO football coaching was birthed. And when I really sort of flew with it, really. So yeah, 2019, it came about when I was just thinking, you know, you always, you know, with all the experience that I've got and I have, I was thinking, you know, I can make myself, you know, little one-to-one, you know, little group coaching. You know, I've got my qualifications, I've got my FA coaching badges, I've got my first aid, I've got my safeguard, I've got my DBS. You know, I've got a bag of equipment, you know, cones, balls, your basic equipment to get started. And then I had a little bit of a business now. Now, obviously, I've got more of a business now with the different training courses that I've been on, the Prince's Trust training course that I've been on a couple of years ago, as well as just your own self-investment of, you know, I utilized the lockdown really well in terms of investing into myself. So I learned how to use different Adobe platforms. And that's when I've crossed paths with yourself. I've plucked your brains out many a times, and you've given me so much support and different advice. And you know, I've acquired different skills off you as well, which I'm greatly appreciated. And also just studying YouTube as well. So then 2019, that's when it was birthed. And then here we are now, really. So what we're looking at 3 years now with MO football coaching, and yeah, like, you know, I'm so proud of what I've done, like, you know, to grow a football coaching business, you know, a side hustle, whatever you want to call it, really. But it's me, and I named it MO football coaching because of my initials, MO. You know, it's got a bit catchy now. People refer to me as Mo football coaching, as Mo, as M.O. You know, yeah, I was able to, you know, create my own logo. So a bit of brand identity. So yeah, I'm really proud of that, really.
Do you think that you are positioned where you want to be? Do you think you're underrated as a coach or a player in your area? What are the highs and the drawbacks being where you are?
Oh yeah, that's a really good thought-provoking question. Thank you. I would say, I think in terms of under, like, appreciated, or like under, you know, like under someone who's maybe unknown entity, where I've sort of come from Southeast London and then relocated to Kent, and then I'm like, right, I'm gonna build my football coaching company in Kent, and I've been here for just over a year when I launched it. You know, to onlooker, they're like, oh wow, that's big, that's brave. But again, it comes back to what you're saying about, you know, like, I back my ability, I back my experience. You know, I back my experience. I've got a lot of experience working with children and young people. Got a lot of football coaching experience, working with a range of different age groups, range of different abilities, and then just sort of the skills that I have as well, the skills and qualities that I can bring to the table. And I feel, in terms of like a one-to-one service, I feel that the experience that I have now, also now qualifying as a teacher now, and also my past career related job roles that I've had, I feel that one-to-one approach, sort of, I can fit that. You know, that's why when I first launched MO football coaching, it was actually called MO one-to-one. You know, because I was like, right, okay, I've got this experience in you know, I've got X, Y, and Z experience in primary schools. I've got a lot of experience football coaching. You know, I've got classroom-based experience as well. And I felt, okay, one-to-one football coaching, I can really engage and motivate and develop a player and work with the parent as well. Again, going back to my experience of being able to communicate effectively with parents and players as well. So that's why I sort of niched it at MO at 1-to-1. And then again, as you grow as a business, you then go, okay, group coaching, okay, team training, and then you go, right, okay, group training, okay, you can work with multiple players. Team training, you can work with a team. I've had experience of coaching teams, so I'm like, okay, now I can offer more. So I can offer 1-to-1, I can offer group, I can offer team training. And yeah, going back to your question, I think, like you said, Kent is big. It's big. I'm not saying it's as big as London, but it's a really huge county. And in regards to other service users and other service providers, and coaching companies, there's a lot. Like, there's Tesco's, there's Sainsbury's, there's Waitrose, so there's other shopping supermarkets, and of course there are also other coaching providers. But I feel for myself, it's important for me to stay in my lane and focus on MO football coaching and focus on what I can provide as a service provider, and with the current and prospective players that I have and parents that I liaise with, if they're happy to use my service and they're happy to use me as a person, me as a person, and the skills that I have and the experience that I have, then yeah, I'm happy for players and parents to sort of coach myself. And I also understand that ultimately, we're in it's a competitive market, football, isn't it? Football coaching, playing, even if you look at the highest level, the Premier League, you've got different teams who are vying for the same players, and it's all about who can provide more money, who can provide more in terms of Champions League, who can provide more in terms of guaranteed starts. So in life in general, you're in competition in life, isn't it? You're in competition. It's just like, okay, what's my USP? Why are you attracted to MO football coaching? What does MO football coaching do for you? How can I benefit you? How can I improve you as a player? How can I improve you as a person? And I feel with my, going back to it, with my years of experience in education and in coaching and in football, that's what I can bring to the table. So yeah.
Wow. I've got so many questions. I also as well, I've seen it online and we've spoken about your journey now into refereeing. How is that going?
Yeah, good. Yeah, no, good. I never, growing up, I was, probably never thought I'd delve into refereeing. I feel in terms of my age and where I'm at now with my coaching career and stroke playing career, I feel that, yeah, it was probably the right time to step into referee and utilize my playing experience and utilize my coaching experience to learn a new skill. Refereeing is an art, it's a skill, to gain knowledge, which I very much have, and to also look at the game differently. It really gives doing the coaching course, and shout out Jamal at the London FA for pushing me to do a referee course, because he's been on my case for a few years since I've linked in with him and sponsored a London Cup competition a couple of years ago, and he's always been saying, come over to refereeing, come and be a referee. So yeah, definitely, it's good that I've done it. I did it over the summer, and I'm sort of getting some games under my belt, which is good, which is important, because once you've got a qualification like coaching, you need to go out there and start using it and start utilizing your skills and your skill set. So yeah, no, it's enjoyable, and I'd recommend, if you want to support the game, if you want to grow, if you want to retain grassroots football, if you want to keep grassroots football alive, it needs more referees and more qualified referees. So, you know, I think you should try and get in contact with your local county and see how you can be part of the cause and change the movement, and, you know, get more referees trained.
In football or in life, what's been the hardest thing that you had to overcome, or like the one thing that's been the hardest for you just to focus on?
Yeah, I think it's just more just like, I say, like rejection. You know, maybe telling, oh, you're not good enough for this role. Oh, we've gone for someone else. You know, in various roles growing up. You know, failure, even if it's like failing your driving test a lot of times, like I did before I finally passed. Failing exams, like I said, I failed my level 2 assessment first time of asking, which obviously knocks you, but then you realize, oh, okay, you can do it again. So it's just more just sort of just the rejection, failure, setbacks, life setbacks. You know, like, you know, it's not been plain sailing. You know, it's not been plain sailing. There's been a lot of bumps. You know, you have to go this way, you have to go that way, you know, to get to your destination. So yes, I'll say that.
And like, how like do you deal with failure and setbacks?
Yeah. So the first instant, you're going to be frustrated, you're going to be angry, you're going to be upset, you're going to think about why, and then you then look at it and think, you know, were you meant to be there at that time? You know, is it your time? You know, do you need to go away and build up on your experience? Do you need to go away and be better? And then yeah, so like I said, the first frustration, you know, if you're obviously frustrated, and then you then reflect, you pause, you reflect, you talk to people around you, friends and family, close people around you, to get your, you know, to get your energies back up, and just sort of motivate yourself, and then you go again, and you get back on the saddle per se and attack it.
So what's the biggest thing you've regretted?
I'd say within football coaching, I was given an opportunity when I was in college, when I was 16, 17. I was given an opportunity to do my level 2 then. But it was like I think it was like a financial thing, and I was like, I don't know about that. But I was actually presented with an opportunity, so I could have done my level 2 earlier. You know, in my life, I could have done it earlier, and if I did it earlier, then I could have got onto my UEFA B earlier, and then yeah, that really. I'd say that in terms of coaching. Yeah.
And then in life?
Nothing off the top of my head. Nothing off the top. Nothing. Yeah, nothing sort of major really. I think it's just all about time at the end of the day, and just doing things at the right time. So, for example, I went and I didn't know. I delved a lot into different jobs growing up. Like after you finish university, you think about, okay, you like sport, you like education, okay, but maybe you don't want to go and qualify as a primary school teacher. Maybe you don't want to go and qualify as a secondary school teacher. And then you just have jobs just to see you through, I'll just settle for this job. I'll just settle for that job. Until like 2 years ago when I found this route into teaching, and I found like further education and post 16 education, and I found that route into teaching, and then where I've sort of grown up through different experiences, different life experiences, I thought, right, okay, post 16, okay, right, I enjoy sport, I enjoy teaching sport. I've had experience of doing a football academy. I've experience of doing a BTEC myself, as an avenue to get to university. So I know that, if you do a BTEC, if you do a now NCFE level 3, you're able to also go to university and pursue a career in sport or in media, in IT, in business. So I'd say yeah, not knowing my career role sooner. However, that hasn't stopped me from, like you said, getting married, getting a property, and so on, building a business as well. Mm-hmm.
You are very like methodical in your approach in football and in life in general. And again, we have spoken, but it's the first time that I'm really kind of delving deep in terms of how your mind works. And there are just different steps and procedures that if you don't do, you're not going to move on. And do you think that's kind of, well, not held you back, but being a maverick and just saying, you know what, I'm just going to do certain things and just see exactly where I land? Are you a risk taker in certain aspects of your life?
Well, doing, like I said, launching the MO football coaching, and launching and being and putting yourself out there, setting up a Instagram page, setting up a Facebook page, marketing for clients, marketing for players, marketing for teams, putting yourself out there, videoing yourself, doing sessions, photography, videography, even what we're doing now, having the limelight on you. Like, I'm not someone to have the limelight on myself, I'm not that type of person. But where I've done it, and I've had to do it because of, when you're a teacher, when you're a football coach, when you're in that sort of public domain and you're on that front line, you have to be approachable. You have to be able to, if it's a case of, oh, we're going to clip you for something, or we're going to take a photo of you or something, then you have to be that sort of person. So even like that, so I'd say in that sense of risk taking, of, I won't say it was with the football business, it was more kind of like, come on, Mimi, do it. Come on, do it. Come on, do it. Do it. It was more like, are you going to do it? You're not going to do it. If you're going to do it, then go for it. If you're not going to do it, then stop talking about doing it. So I'd say, yeah, risk taking in that sense. And then sort of even just like I said, when I found this route into teaching, that's also in terms of the point in my life. We were going through a global pandemic. And then it was a case of going back into education when you're in your late 20s, as well as all the pressures of life. So yeah, so then in that sense, that's also a risk, because also you're like, you don't know if you're going to pass or fail as well. Thankfully, I've passed and I've qualified. So yeah.
Okay, and like, what kind of gets you going? What kind of gets you out of bed? And let's put like the football side of it away. Like, what's the one or two things where you think, wow, I'm just very lucky and I can wake up with a smile?
Yeah, just the fact that obviously, like, thankfully, thank God that, each day I'm healthy and I've got an opportunity to wake up and start a fresh day, turn the chapter, turn the page and start afresh and go again, really, and just be grateful that I've got help, that I'm living a healthy life, and I've got a roof over my head. Yeah, really, those little small little things that sometimes you can take for granted, really.
And what's the future looking like? I don't like to put years, but okay, let's say between 5 and 10 years.
I'd like to continue to grow MO football coaching, and to just hone in on my teaching practices and become a good, skilled, experienced teacher, and then also pursue in that avenue, like pursuing in a form of like leadership, mentorship, curriculum design within that. Hopefully try to secure a UEFA B spot as well. So I have aspirations of getting onto a UEFA B and becoming a UEFA B qualified coach one day, next 5 years, like you said. And yeah, just continue just to like progress on with life, innit? And whatever life brings, just continue just to progress with life, really. Yeah, I get that. I get that you want to start putting, people like to put targets or goals or ambitions. Not going to put too much pressure on myself in terms of I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. But things such as things that I know I've got control over, like MO football coaching. I know that I'm in control of maybe of how I can grow it. I'm in control of the career if I want to push myself, if I just want to settle and just in like the role I am, or if I want to push myself and showcase my expertise. And then just like generic day-to-day life, really.
It's so hard not to be thankful and to be grateful in terms of what you have now, rather than thinking in a year's time, never mind 5 years, in terms of where you think you're going to be. Just be happy where you are right now and look at the blessings that we have. And it's kind of very hard, especially in the football world, where it's very fickle and it's very fast. And even on social media as well, we have both experienced those kind of roller coaster events where you think, okay, I'm now celebrating a huge win, but tomorrow it could be such a devastating low. Like there's like no such thing as a kind of medium, I say like a medium or an average emotion, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
What's funny?
It's there's like a lot of things. Again, we've been speaking for this is our 3rd year. So we started speaking in the pandemic.
Yeah.
And people who know me, I want to help as much as possible. But the people who I want to help the most are people who are executors. And everything that you've said that you're going to do, you've done through hardship, through celebrations. And I just want to applaud you now in terms of everything that's coming your way. And again, thank you for being part of my journey as well.
Yeah.
And like, you are a huge advocate for women's football, just football in general. Never mind, literally, I don't even want to break up into sections in football in general. And I just want to, be on camera and just to say thank you for your support.
No, thank you. And thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. And likewise. No. But it's obviously struck up quite a nice friendship, isn't it? And I can see you as like a mentor, like a guru.
Oh, no.
I say, people don't understand how much knowledge and experience that you have, but to Breeze, you have so much knowledge, so much expertise, just what you can do. Like even you open up the world in terms of different platforms you use and how you use them, and just your skill. It's like I commend you, man, and like what you're doing as an amateur footballer and all the content that you've done over the years, and you're still innovating and you're creating new content to reach different target audiences, to spread the word of football, really, and football life. Good, man. It's good. You're doing well as well yourself. You're doing really well.
Thank you. And where can people find you?
Most active on Instagram, so MO Football Coaching. Twitter, MO Coaching 1. So mainly Twitter and Instagram platforms.
Mimi, thank you so much for coming on. Please like and subscribe. We'll be back next week, Sunday, with another amazing guest.